Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is the show that I do every single week, almost for 40 weeks, almost every single Sunday night from the last 40 weeks. This is the show where I basically give you guys a preview of everything that is going to be coming out from the channel over the course of the week that is ahead. And as a reminder, all videos get released Monday through Friday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then we go live a couple of times during the week, always for the Ready, Set, Go preview show on Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, and then maybe once or twice over the course of the week at random times. So you definitely want to stay tuned, turn on notifications, follow me on Instagram so that you can stay abreast of whenever these impromptu live streams happen, because there is no rhyme, there is no reason to a lot of the live streams. Is whenever I feel something and jump on here and try to do a live stream. We typically have a good time, whether we are talking about scheduled live streams or impromptu live streams. I think that we have a good time. So we have an agenda tonight that we are going to kind of go through. I forgot to update the title because I was sitting here reading the comments, trying to facilitate a discussion between two of you here in the room. So check your emails because I may have sent you an email a few moments ago if you are here. But I want to say hello to some comic book soldiers before I get started here. I know my brother Wayne McDonald up in Canada was here for a few moments. He popped out, said that he needed to catch this on replay. So Wayne, if you are watching this now on replay, I want to say thank you for stopping by. Matthew and Tina have been having a fantastic conversation. It's good to see both of you. Collecting Chaos is here in the room. It's good to see you. There's a little Matt love. There's a little Tina love. Throw you guys up on screen here. Let me scroll down through the names, see who else is here in the room in terms of comic book soldiers. Rick Taylor is here. It's good to see you, bearded comic collector. Welcome to the live stream, my friend. It is always good to see you. As I continue to scroll down, James Tomlinson is here in the room. Old School Comics is also here. Comic Corpse is here. Mark, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Scrolling down through the names, I think we have another Mike right here. It's good to see you, my friend. Continuing to scroll, Aaron Finkelstein is here. It's always good to see you, my friend. Randy, brother, I was just talking about you earlier today. I have literally been recording videos off and on the entire day. And at what point I have uttered a couple of people's names that are here in this room as I was recording various videos. So you definitely want to stay tuned for videos that are coming out this week, next week, and possibly the week after, because your name very well could be mentioned in one or more of those videos. Jay, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Tom Garcia is in the house. It's good to see you. Hillbilly Comics is also here. Scrolling through the names, my man Rye, how you doing, brother? Hope you and the girlfriend are doing well down there in Southern California. Aaron Jones is here. Omega Comics is here. H Factor, my man, it is always good to see you. Rob, thank you, brother, for the purchase earlier today. The book will be mailed out to you tomorrow, so stay tuned. It should be there in a couple of days. Johnny Future is here. Another person that I named in a video earlier today, so stay tuned for that. Brandon is also here. The almighty Liker King, Jerry, is in the house. All right, Kyler, I see you, brother. All right, so there we go. A couple of shout outs for the folks that have decided to join here for this live stream. Definitely want to thank you all for taking time out of your respective Sunday to join us here. I'm actually glad to be back on track. Things have been a little off for the last couple of weeks. It was possibly also going to be off this week, but I decided not to go out of town until a little bit later. So I am thankful that I'm actually here, able to do this live stream, and glad that you all could actually join me. So if you're watching this right now on the live stream, or if you're watching this on replay and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so. That way you can stay abreast of all the content that I release on a weekly basis. And it also makes you eligible for the giveaways that I do on a regular basis. So this live stream is, and I forgot to update the name of the live stream, so you have my apologies for that. I'm going to be talking about X-Men and X-Men related things over the course of this live stream. And I think it'll all kind of make sense. My goal is not to spoil any of the things that we're going to be talking about, because we're going to be bouncing around talking about a couple of different topics, all X-Men related. And the goal is not to spoil any of this stuff for you, but to kind of make you aware of some things, and also to share some of my thoughts on a few things as well. But I certainly don't want to ruin anything for you all. So it's definitely, hopefully, Canada representing. Sully Two Kings, how you doing? Corey, it's good to see you. Brett Hess Art, it's good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm gonna start sharing my screen so I can hip you guys to a couple of things, and then we're going to get into, after I hip you to a couple of things, we're going to get into the videos and the podcasts that are going to be released this week. We're also then going to give away this week's book, sponsored by Go Collect, and then I'll also show you the book that is going to be given away this coming week. So you definitely want to stay tuned for all of that, because there's a couple of things happening. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. And if I do this correctly, and who knows if I will, yes, I did it. I did it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this jammy right here. And I've been hearing a lot about this right here from a lot of people. This is Chris Claremont's X-Men, Meet the Man Behind the Mutants. I've been hearing a lot about this from folks over the last like week or so. And I think this thing actually came out like last year, but for some reason or another, I think we are just now seeing it. Maybe because it was just now pushed out on Amazon Prime, because that's actually where I saw it. It may have been released in other venues before, and is now just made available on Amazon Prime, because I'm just now hearing about it over the last couple of weeks. But I had a chance to watch this. I had a chance to watch it. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but it is available on Amazon Prime. It is a 1 hour and 10-minute documentary on Chris Claremont. And my general feeling is that this was informative, right? I enjoyed it because it provided me with a little bit of background on some things that were happening with the X-Men back in the day. And so, everyone, in my opinion, knows Chris Claremont, knows about his 17-year run on X-Men and various other X-related titles. But this actually provided people with some behind-the-scenes kind of action in terms of, his relationships with other people, like Jim Lee, who I'm a huge fan of, his relationship with Jim Shooter, his relationship with two of his editors, how he actually got into the industry. I actually did not even know that he wasn't American. I assumed that Chris Claremont was American. He actually is not. And again, I don't want to totally spoil it for you guys, but it was a cool documentary because it kind of provided a fair bit of insight into some of the things that you've heard about, or some of the things that you've read, or some of just an additional layer of detail that I really appreciated. And I'm a Chris Claremont fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that what he did for the X-Men was incredible. In my opinion, he did not create the X-Men, but I think he helped to make the X-Men what they are today, right? And I think that what Jonathan Hickman is doing right now is also very incredible. But I think, again, to take a series and a title that was basically a third string series and turn it around and to turn it into arguably one of the most incredible superhero teams out there, potentially at Marvel and potentially across all of comics. The X-Men are incredible. And Chris Claremont, that all came from that head and also from that team of people around him that he was working with. And I actually didn't even know that the guy had two female editors. I thought that was really cool that he had two female editors back in the day that were basically pushing him to be creative, pushing him to meet deadlines, pushing him to think outside the box, giving him a forum in which to be creative. And I really, really enjoyed it. Just from the content perspective. From a production value standpoint, I think the production value was a little low. And I think I was expecting it to be a bigger kind of documentary with some over the top kind of graphics and things like that. And the production value was a little low. I think it was definitely a lower budget kind of project that they were working on. But again, I wasn't watching it for the production value, but because I'm sitting here in my comic book room, which is essentially my studio. I was kind of looking at it from that perspective. And I think that it was more about the content than the production value, and again, don't want to ruin it for anybody, but when you watch it, you'll probably see what I mean by that. But by and large, I thought it was a pretty good series or a documentary. I enjoyed it. Definitely want to encourage you all to check it out if you have a chance. So let me see what some of the comments are. I think someone said I'm gonna have to check it out. Where is that comment? Scrolling through, I'm trying to see if I can find that. Someone made a couple of comments. You got to see the Stan Lee documentary with great power. The Stan Lee story is on YouTube for free. Yeah, I may have actually seen that one. There's so many documentaries about Stan Lee, right? Who basically passed, I want to say almost a year ago to the day. It was either today or tomorrow. I can't remember. So, and you guys know this. I mean, there's really wonderful documentaries out there about Stan Lee. There's all kinds of great interviews where you can actually hear him speak, which I thought is really cool. That was one of the things that I thought was really great about the Chris Claremont, is that with this documentary, I was actually able to hear him in his own words. And to me, that always carries a tremendous amount of weight. So a couple of people have shouted out the various Stan Lee documentaries. So you guys should definitely kind of check some of those out if you have a chance. So I think I missed a lot of the comments that popped up about the documentary. Say, oh, there was one. Where did it go? The chat is moving a little fast, so let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Stan Lee created the X-Men, but Claremont gave them life. Well said, Tom Garcia. I mean, I agree. And to be honest with you, I think the X-Men, when they were put out there by Stan, I think it was more of like, hey, let me just throw this out there, kind of like several other characters that he created. He would create some stuff, he would put it out there, and he would let other writers and other creators kind of latch onto those things and bring those things to life. And it took a little bit of time, which is part of the reason why the X-Men was actually discontinued. There's a reason why it was like the third string comic that was out there, is because no one had really picked it up. And I think that Chris Claremont did that. He came in, he saw some potential there. And I guess this guy used to actually want to be an actor, right? And so character development is basically what he did for the X-Men, similar to how an actor would get into character and build up this whole backstory about a particular character so that they can portray that character with a lot more dimension and a lot more life. That's exactly what he basically did for the X-Men. He basically made them three-dimensional. He gave them texture. He gave them context. And it wasn't just people on a page that just ran out and did heroic things. These were actually people that had personal lives and personal struggles. And I mean, he really, really brought them to life. And so again, if you are a fan of the X-Men, if you're a fan of Chris Claremont, you definitely want to go out and check this out, because I think that there's definitely some good stuff out there. So all right. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, a couple of people shouted out other documentaries and things like that. So if you get a chance, make sure you're reading the chat, because there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And I'm saying this not for the people that are in the chat right now, but for those that are actually watching this back on replay. You may want to take a couple of moments. Really good stuff up here that is popping up. The only reason why I don't recommend that particular channel that someone talked about is because of the amount of cursing that is actually in that channel. That is always something that I try to avoid, especially because I have children, right? I think it's a great channel, but it is full of profanity. So if you read that comment around the time I'm saying what I'm saying, you know which channel I'm talking about, and just hide your kids. That's all I'm saying. Hide your kids, because it's definitely a dope live stream, but it is vibrant. Let's just put it that way. So I had an opportunity to read a couple of comics. One of them was this book right here. Had a chance to read this book right here. And it is not good. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It is not good. What we are talking about right now is New Mutants. I struggled with this comic. It took me 2.5 days. Took me 2.5 days to read this comic, partly because the comic was just really thick. There was a lot of comic there. The artwork wasn't very good. The story, in my opinion, wasn't very good. The dialogue was somewhat entertaining. I did enjoy the dialogue, but I as a whole, I did not enjoy this particular comment. This being New Mutants. This is one of the books, I'm gonna be honest with you, that I was not excited about. Was not excited about this particular comic. I kind of like New Mutants back in the day, kind of sorta around the time of like the Fallen Angels and some of that stuff. The Exterminators, I enjoyed that. The New Mutants, not so much. Got a little weird at various points over the cycle of the title, and I thought that this one was going to do better, and it was pretty much on par. It was pretty much on par with everything. Here we go. So Robello is saying New Mutants was more like Generation X. Didn't care for it. Seems like a lot of filler just for a flower. Well said. There was a lot of filler, a lot of dialogue, a lot of things that did not quite make sense, a lot of just senseless stuff that happened. And it actually, it took me some time. Like I said, it took me some time to actually get through this one, because I kept hoping that it was going to get better. Here's somebody's like, I knew the artwork was going to be suspect, but the story too. Here you go. Skipped out on New Mutants and going to skip Fallen Angels. I mean, again, this is one of those titles that I was not super excited about, to be honest with you. And you want to hope for the best, right? You want to hope for the best, but this one, despite all of my positive thoughts, did not deliver. I am, however, going to read the first 5 issues. I am going to get the first 5 issues. I am committed to that. I'm committed to getting the first 5 issues of all of the new titles. Part of the reason why I am specifically committed to this one is because of the fact that that Jonathan Hickman is writing the first 4 issues, and I think that he is laying a foundation for some things that are going to come much later, and which is why he's writing the first 4 issues. And then I think Ed Brisson actually takes over after that. I think he and Jonathan are like co-writing these things, but I think Jonathan Hickman is doing something in the first 4 issues. So I'm at least going to read those. I'm at least going to buy the first 5, and then I'm out, right? If it does not get better, then I'm out. And so I honestly don't even know if it can get better. It was not good. It was not good. Let me scroll down to see a couple of people shouting out the Marauders. I'm telling you, if you have not read the Marauders, you are missing out. The Marauders was entertaining. It was a well-written, fun comic. Great story, great dialogue, some unexpected stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Allison is saying, so far, I've liked Excalibur the best other than the main storyline. Allison, I like you. I'm going to disagree with you. No, I think what's great about this is that there are so many great titles out there right now that I think people can find something that works for them. I thought that Excalibur was okay. I did not think that Excalibur was a good onboarding for people that are new to comics or people that were new to Excalibur, right? And I would say most people are probably new to Excalibur just because Excalibur has never historically been a really popular title. And so there were things that were in Excalibur 1 that I think should have been done differently to allow people to onboard with Excalibur. I felt like after I read it, or as I was reading it, I needed to go read more books in order to understand what the heck was happening. Like with the amulet, I was like, what's up with this amulet? And where did the amulet go when she took the power? And so it was one of those things that I think it could have been done a little bit better. And one of the things that I'm also not upset about, but I think could have been done better, was they revealed who the new Captain Britain was on the very cover. And so when I got to that section of the book, what could have been a really big reveal, at least in my mind, fell a little flat because Captain Britain was already on the cover. And so that was a little bit of a miss creatively for me. If I were the writer, if I was working on this, I would have been like, no, do something else on the cover. Don't reveal that particular point, So I was a little disappointed in that one. Marauders, fantastic read. I thoroughly enjoyed Marauders. If you haven't read that one, I talked about that last week as part of the Ready, Set, Go preview show with Kate Pride. That was a good read. This one, I am honestly super excited about continuing to read moving forward. So the next one that I want to talk about here, I'm going to throw this one up on screen if I can get it to work. And we have done it. X-Force. This one I was excited about, and I'm excited about this one because you kind of divide these folks on the cover into two different camps. One of them are like the intellectual side, the big thinkers, and the others are we're about to tear stuff up. We're about to get wet, right? And so you have this is like the investigative arm of the Krakoa security detail, right? These are the folks that are going out there and infiltrating foreign governments and figuring out what they're doing. Are they abiding by the rules? Are they trying to do black market deals? Are they trying to attack Krakoa? I mean, that's what this group is all about. And again, one side is like your intelligence side, and then the other side is like, we are about to tear some stuff up. And I enjoyed this book. I honestly enjoyed this one. I thought it was a good read. There were also some surprises in this, which I think are really, really cool. There's some things that happened that I didn't expect. And I definitely want to encourage you to pick this one up. This one is a really fun book that I enjoyed. There's some interesting characters in this one. Like I recently got into Domino just a little bit, and I actually prefer the old version of Domino when she was in her limited series versus the version that was done where J. Scott Campbell did those #1s, the more recent one in 2019. There was an older version of Domino and a limited series that I really enjoyed that particular character. And I'm waiting to see which version of Domino this one will be. Hopefully not the more recent, and maybe it's the older one. Fingers crossed on that. But this is a story that I enjoyed. There's some surprises. There's a little bit of intrigue. There's a little bit of mystery. So those are all the positives. The negatives, the cover art is probably the best thing about this one. From an artistic standpoint, I did not enjoy the art. I did not enjoy the art at all. So that was a little bit of a drawback. There were some character things in there because like Black Tom is not a character that I'm really, fully aware of. So I actually need to go back and do some research on Black Tom to better understand how he's doing what he's doing on the island, because I don't quite understand that. So I need to dig into that. And I will tell you, there are some really good interstitial pages in this one. So House of X Powers of 10 had those great black and white interstitial pages that were really, really informative. X-Force also has great interstitial pages. So again, a really good one to pick up. Here is, so X-Force was great, but why does Wolverine have to be so right? I'm guessing you're talking about politically right, and I don't really have an answer to that question. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, yes, he was. So Black Tom was Juggernaut's buddy back in the day. Yes, agreed. But his powers and how he's using his powers to do things with Krakoa, that's the part that I don't fully understand. I know who the character is, but I don't fully appreciate his powers. And I think Black Tom has really been in my opinion, probably a third string kind of character that, again, I don't know a ton about. So I definitely want to dig into that to better understand that one. So scrolling down to see what we're talking about here. Actually going to scroll up. What is this? Oh, thanks. I'm telling you, X-Force, it's a good one. The art, not so good, JT. Not so good there. I feel that X-Force was the proper characterization of Wolverine, and the question that this book has raised regarding the security of Krakoa. Man, the security was penetrated like no one else's business, and it was fierce. That was a fierce attack that I absolutely enjoyed reading that one. So yeah, that's a good one. I don't want to ruin it for folks, but you definitely want to check that one out. Just one issue of Marauders. Yeah, I don't know when the next one comes out. Maybe next week. So definitely looking forward to that. Enjoyed the artwork and story in X-Force and New Mutants. Bearded comic collector. Again, I think this is one of the great things is that everyone has a point of view. His point of view is just as valid as mine. And if he enjoyed it, hey, there you go. That's I think we are all on the same page if we have things to argue against that we both like something, right? So I'm definitely on board with that. All right, so let me see. X-Force was the best. Great story. Setup going forward, key to the entire story. Thankful X-Force is finally back with good writing. See, I'm a big fan of X-Force from back in the day, right? So I'm definitely enjoying that. What is this? Black Tom Cassidy appears in Claremont's Uncanny X-Men 99 when they're in the castle when Wolverine talks to leprechauns and learns his name is Logan. Oh, Allison, well done. So I hear Hawkeye. How you doing, brother? He's asking about Fallen Angels. I don't know if I'm excited about Fallen Angels. This is the one that I'm still a little on the fence about because I don't quite know what this one is about, right? I think it's like, you know, some revenge stuff. This one is still a little nebulous to me. I'm excited about all of them because I want to read them because the X-Men, X-Force is back, right? All that kind of stuff. But this is the one that I don't know. I don't know where this one is actually going to go. So how do I feel about mutants being resurrected? Here's the thing is I am all for it. I am all for it. And I'm all for it because of why it was done. And the reason why the resurrection was actually done was to allow all of the mutants who had been killed on in various places, right? You read, if you read House of X Powers of 10, you read about all the various massacres, right? Genosha, Utopia, et cetera, et cetera. All of these various massacres that occurred killed a lot of mutants, right? And so you had a lot of mutants that were decimated and just removed. And so by allowing for resurrection, it allows Jonathan Hickman and other writers to reset things and to bring back all of these fantastic characters that we've seen over the years without having to write, you know, a year's worth of convoluted stories to bring these people back, like bringing back the original Pyro. It was easy, right? Because he was resurrected, super easy. Now he's back. And now you don't have to write this crazy story to explain how he was brought back. So I think that was actually a good move. The resurrection thing was a good move. Now, for one, because it brings everybody back. The second reason why it was done is in the words of Jonathan Hickman, if mutants can be resurrected, then killing them isn't a big story anymore. And if a writer can't kill a character to make a story interesting or to make it big, then that forces the writer to be more creative. It forces the writer to not be lazy and to actually do some things that are really exciting and really well done besides just killing a character. So those are the two reasons why the resurrection thing was done, was to reset things and then also to not give writers the easy out of just basically killing off characters for the sake of sales. So I'm all for it because I think that it serves a much needed purpose, and I'm definitely on board with that. So there you go. Scrolling down. I will not answer that question. I will not answer that question. I will allow you guys to read and figure that one out. I'm not going to touch that one. All right. So let me see. Easy to reboot by, what is this? The easy out is rebooting by killing Moira. Well, I don't know if that will happen, right? Because Moira technically is on her 10th life. So if you were to kill her, that does not mean that you're going to get an 11th life, because the 11th life is, if she made the right choice, she might get an 11th life. So technically this is the last and final life that we at least know of based upon the prophecy that was actually done. So scrolling down through some of the comments here. Scrolling down. Okay, well, all right, so here we go. So we've done that part. Basically, this was all about talking about the X-Men. So I really wanted to talk about Chris Claremont's documentary on Amazon Prime, because I think it's definitely a cool documentary that X-Men fans should watch. And then I also wanted to give a little bit of perspective on a couple of the X titles that have come out as of late, and then as we're leading into a week when more of them are actually coming out. So let me give you guys a heads up on what is coming out from the channel this week from Regie Collects. There's a couple of really cool videos that I think are dropping. One of the videos is a video where I'm actually going to be showing you books that I'm not sending to CGC. And honestly, yeah. So it is basically a video where I am saying, here's a book. I'm not sending this book to CGC. And I'm doing it in order to provide a little bit of context on where I try to draw a line between what I submit and what I don't submit. And so in the video, I actually show several examples of books that could be submitted and books that won't be submitted based upon some criteria, right? And so I think it's a cool video. It was basically a video that was suggested to me by a subscriber who watched one of my last videos where I talked about books that I was sending. And they were like, well, if you're sending those, which books aren't you sending? So I decided to create a video to kind of highlight that. And so if this proves to be something that folks like, I'll probably do a couple more where I kind of walk through more of my thinking around why I won't submit a certain book. On this topic of the X-Men, there is still one seat available on the Quiet Council, right? There is one seat left on the Quiet Council, and it is the seat that is reserved for the Red King. And there are a lot of people out there that are predicting that the Red King is Kitty Pryde, which I think is just kind of crazy because Kitty Pryde is a woman and the Red King, based upon that name, is a guy. So I don't quite get that. But this week, I am actually going to be making a prediction as to who I think the Red King is. And sometimes the simplest answer, at least in my mind, is potentially the right answer. So in this video, I'm actually going to be saying who the Red King is. I look forward to your thoughts on my prediction and also whether you think there is another Red King somewhere out there. So I think that's going to be a cool video, fun video. I'm also going to be doing an AOK unboxing. There's a couple of AOKs that were sent over to me, so I'm going to be unboxing those in a video. I'm going to share some of my thoughts on a comic crash, because this is still, again, a popular topic that folks are asking about, talking about, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about a comic crash. I got a little fired up with this one. I actually had to record the thing 3 different times because I did not like, I did not like the tangential nature of at least 2 of the videos. So the third one was the charm. So that video will be dropping at some point this week. I'm also going to be doing a video on why people think that I'm naive. There are people that believe that I wear rose-colored glasses and that I am naive. And so I'm actually going to be releasing a video in which I actually talk about that. And so again, all fun videos. You guys know me, all fun videos that it will probably make you think, probably give you something to noodle, and hopefully will entertain you as well. So stay tuned for all of those videos that are going to be dropping Monday through Friday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm also going to be dropping 2 podcasts this week. Definitely 2 cool podcasts, I think, that are going to be coming out at 7 a.m. Pacific time on Monday and Wednesday. So if you are not following me on the podcast, you definitely want to check that out. We are basically everywhere the podcasts are available. So iTunes, the Google Play Store, Podbean. There are links on the community tab and all that kind of stuff to the podcast. And if you have questions about where to find it, just send me a message at REGIECOLLECTS on Instagram or REGIECOLLECTS@gmail.com, and I'll give you some guidance on where to actually find the podcast. Even send you a couple of links. All right. So let me see. Comic Book Joe is making a prediction that it'll be Omega Red. Let me scroll down. Kitty's variant of Marauders 1 is called the Red Queen variant. Yep. Again, but people are still saying that even though she has been identified as the Red Queen, they are saying that she is the Red King, which I think is just fascinating. Do you think the Walking Dead books are worth holding on to? I'll say yes. Because there are still lots of Walking Dead fans out there. I mean, I think isn't it still in like replays? I mean, I think they're still playing that. And just because the TV show went off, that's only part of the popularity. I mean, it was a popular comic before it was actually a popular TV show. And people that are watching the TV show are still finding out that it was actually a comic before it was a TV show. So depending upon the book, I would potentially hold on to it. And there's a comment here. Eric the Red is the Red Knight. I can feel it in his bones. So we will see soon enough when Jonathan Hickman decides to reveal to us who the Red King is. You guys remember that the Almighty Liger King was wrong. I am teasing. Scrolling down, seeing what else. All right. So let me go ahead and do this giveaway. So this is the book that we are giving away this week. This is Action Comics number 340, This giveaway is actually sponsored by the folks over at Go Collect. This is the book that we're going to be giving away. This is The Origin and First Appearance of the Parasite. I am a little disappointed in this book. I'm going to be honest with you. I did a live show. I actually opened this thing up. I showed you guys the book. And then I realized after the live show that the case was actually cracked. There is a large crack in the side of the case. I have sent a message off to the seller who for the last 2 days has not responded. And so I'm going to continue following up with the seller to figure out what we can do about this. If you win this book, we have a couple of options. What I can do, whoever wins it, I will either give you cash to reholder this book. If you decide to send it in to reholder it, I will pay you the reholder fee so that you have it. Or if you win it, I can give you the cash equivalent of this book. I will pay you what I paid for it, and then I will work out the details with the person that sold me this cracked case. So you have my apologies. I had already announced it on the video and all this other kind of stuff. People had already started entering the giveaway before I realized that the book was actually damaged. So again, whoever wins this, you have my apology. You also have a couple of options. I will make you whole on this book. Whatever you decide to do, I will take care of you. So this is the book that is going to be given away, Action Comics 340. And if you do win, you will get that book. You will get possibly cash equivalent of that book. You will also get this right here. This is the Go Collect variant. And then you will also have an option of a t-shirt. This is the Go Collect Distressed t-shirt. It only comes in large and extra large. So if you are the winner, you have to let me know what size shirt you want. And if you don't want a shirt, I can give you a pin/stylus instead of the t-shirt. And if you do win, all you have to do is to send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com, REGIE collects@gmail.com, and I will bundle this stuff up to you and send it out, or I will shoot you a PayPal payment so that you have the money if you decide to go that route. All right. So definitely stay tuned, because I'm also going to be showing you the book that is going to be given away this coming week. And that book is not damaged. I actually bought both books from the same seller. The second book is not damaged, just the first one. So I personally think that the person knew. So all right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you guys can see the list of folks that actually entered this week's giveaway. And I'm going to scroll up here to the top. I actually did it in reverse alphabetical order. I like to mix it up on you guys. So my man Zachary, Yamaha Joe right there, scrolling down. These are all the folks that were able to watch the video and enter the contest. I want to say that there were 150 or some odd people that actually entered the contest. And thankfully, there were actually no duplicates, no duplicate entries. And so I'm very appreciative that people are actually following the rules of the contest, and that there is only one entry per person per household. That is the way we do it, because we want to spread the love. So these are all the folks that were able to successfully enter this week's giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen again, and we are going to roll some dice, and we're going to figure out how many times we are going to have to randomize this list. And we have rolled 5. So we're going to have to randomize this list a total of 5 times. So bear with me as I pull the list back up, and we're going to randomize this thing. We're going to give away this book. And oh, that's the wrong screen. Did it? I was on such a roll right up until that moment. So let me go ahead and go back to the list, and we're going to randomize this thing a total of 5 times. So that is once right there. And my page is loading. Bear with me, people. My page is loading. That is 1. Scrolling down to the bottom, that is 2. Scrolling down, that is 3. Here is 4. And the winner of the Go Collect giveaway for this week is... Who is the winner? Omar Ramirez. Omar Ramirez, you, sir, are the winner of Action Comics number 340. Please send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com so that I can figure out what you want to do with this one. If you send me an email, we can have a whole conversation, or better yet, if you want to send me a direct message on Instagram, that would be an easier way for us to have the conversation. And that's Regie Collects on Instagram, or again, regiecollects@gmail.com. Whatever you have access to, we will have the conversation and sort checked this thing out. All right. So a lot of comments coming in from folks. I want to go ahead and show you guys the book that is actually going to be given away this week. And then if there's other things that folks want to talk about, we can definitely continue the conversation. But I want to keep the thing moving forward so that folks know, because I know that it's kind of late on the East Coast. So let me go ahead and get ready to show you all the book that is actually going to be given away this week. And there's a reason why this was basically an X-Men themed kind of live stream. It's because the book that we're giving away is the X-Men. This is X-Men number 95. This is the death of the beloved Thunderbird, the third appearance of the new X-Men. This is X-Men 95. This is a 9.0 with white pages. This is a pretty clean copy of this particular book. And again, I like to work within themes, and that is exactly what we decided to do right here. It's a Chris Claremont story, of course. Definitely a really, really cool book here. Looks like this book was pressed. I mean, I see a couple of little dings on the spine there, but this is a really, really nice book. I'm not quite sure, honestly, why it was only a 9.0. I see a couple of defects and things like that, but could have easily been a 9.4 or so as I kind of glance at it, because it's definitely a nice book. So we got Comic Book Joe's like, dope book. Come to daddy, says someone. Who is this? Someone asked about the FMV. Bear with me, my friend. We are about to dig into the FMV. I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys one more time. We're going to head over to Go Collect. And I'm actually going to look up the FMV of this book. So we're going to type in X-Men number 95. Can you see my screen? Did I share it? Yep, you can see it. X-Men 95. We're going to go ahead and search for this thing, give you a full screen so you can actually see it pretty clearly. So you can see right here, X-Men number 95. We click on the title and we get some FMV data here. This is a 9.0. Scroll down here. You can see that the 9.0 has an FMV of about $160. Most recent sale was October of 2019. You expand the list here, we can actually see some of the sales here. You have one that was 148. There's 199, 186, 175. A couple of low ones here at 122. Then again, I mean, this is someone got a smoking deal right here back in June, $86. It looks like those couple right there actually pulled down the FMV, brought it down to this 160 mark, but definitely a really, really nice book that will actually go home with somebody this week. So definitely stay tuned to the channel, because in one of the videos that gets released between Monday and Friday, I'm going to give you the details on how to actually win this book. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is to head over to the community tab. There will be a post that is up about this book. You click on the MailChimp link, you go to MailChimp, you plug in 3 pieces of information. 2 of them will be about you. 1 of them will be a phrase that I will have given you in one of the videos that comes out Monday through Friday. You plug that phrase in and then you are automatically in the running. And all that I ask is that you be a subscriber of the channel, a resident of the United States, a resident of Canada, or have a mailing address in the US. That's it. That's all you have to do. And again, huge shout out to the folks over at Go Collect for continuing to sponsor us. You know, it'll be almost 42, 43 weeks that they would have been sponsoring us, which I think is a huge testament to their commitment to the comic book community and certainly to the Regie Collects channel. So there you go. Nice X-Men book. In the words of the Golden Guru, tough book, Reggie. Definitely a cool book, man. There's no doubt about it. I actually think I have, I think I may have 2 copies of this book. I want to say over in my bins. I actually need to check and see whether either of them is higher than a 9.0. One of the things that hurts my heart is that when I buy these really nice books and give them away and then realize that I don't either have a copy or have a copy as nice as the one that I've given away. The worst is when the price takes off after I give it away, you know? So, so this again will be somebody's book that someone walks away with. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. And so who is this? Yeah, the winner, the Caped Crusader, actually did claim his prize. I did a live stream, I want to say on Friday, and I basically announced that the prize had not been claimed, and it was probably around midnight or so when I actually saw that that email come in. No, it was a DM, it's a direct message on Instagram come in from the Caped Crusader claiming his prize. So I was able to bundle that up and actually have it in the outer room here, and I will absolutely get it mailed out along with whoever it was. I can't remember who won the Action Comics. We're gonna get all of these mailed out, and then if someone actually bought books from this weekend, I'm actually going to get those books mailed out tomorrow as well. So definitely stay tuned. Hopefully things arrive pretty quickly out to you guys. So scrolling down through the comments here, looking for a nice early X-Men slab, but can't make up my mind on what to get. 14 maybe. You can't go wrong. I mean, there's a lot of really low number X-Men books that are really cool, right? So I'm a big fan of 12 and 14. I love those red covers. But it's, it depends on what you're interested in, right? How low you want to go. 50 is a gorgeous cover. You cannot go wrong with X-Men 50 with that gorgeous cover. It just depends on what you're looking for. Thankfully, none of them really are crazy expensive, right? There are some out there that you can get that are low number, that are still affordable. It's not like other titles where, anything below 100 or something like that, it's just a crazy amount of money. So a lot of good stuff out there. And the phrase should be blown up. Oh man, funny. All right, let me see what else you guys are talking about. Don't sleep on X-Men number 11, says high voltage Mark. Scrolling through the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. I don't know how low you want, but 28 is nice and fairly inexpensive, says Hillbilly. And that's the great thing about it, man, is that there's a lot of lower number X-Men books that are still affordable, right? I mean, they're not crazy expensive, but there's definitely some good stuff out there. And I'm actually thinking about doing part of the Chris Claremont run. There's certain books that I definitely want to pick up. I have a couple of them already, but I'm actually thinking about at some point trying to do more of Chris's Claremont's run, because I think it'll be kind of cool to have a lot of those books that he actually worked on. So I do have an announcement. I'll tell you. Shout out to my friend Tina here, who is a huge fan of a huge friend, I should say, that I talk to often behind the scenes. She actually encouraged me a little bit to bring back a series that I had killed. And so I actually recorded an episode earlier today of the Random Run. And the Random Run was a series that I did almost 2 years ago. And it was a failure. It was not good. It was not well received. And so it went away. And Tina and a couple of other people made comments over the last couple of months about, they would like to see a return. They might be interested in seeing that. So I actually decided to bring it back. So I recorded an episode of the Random Run earlier today. And I'm actually going to be dropping it maybe next week or the week after. I have to see how things play out. But I think it was a fun random run. And it actually addresses another question that a few other subscribers have had for me. So it's kind of like a twofer. It's kind of like a twofer, right? I bring it back for a couple of people who were asking about it, and then I also use it to address questions from other people. So it's a nice little twofer for me. Bearded Comic Collector was like, he says, Random Run was okay. That's what's up. So new segment. Oh man, you could tell when someone has either been with me as a subscriber for a long period of time or has gone back to watch some of the old stuff. Yeah, we're bringing it back. We're Rando Run. We are bringing back a couple of old things, and it's fun because part of it is that the viewership for the channel has changed, right? I mean, it was one thing before and it's evolved into something different. A lot more people. And so we're going to try it out. We're going to see whether people are receptive to it. For those that don't know, here's what Random Run was. Random Run was something that I created in response to people asking me if I bought and owned anything but keys. And this was early on, right? And I was playing catch up in many ways as a collector because I was out of the hobby for a very long time. And this may sound familiar to you. I was out of the hobby for a very long time. I come back into it as an adult, I have more money than I did as a child. and I was playing catch up. I was going out buying all of these books that I've always wanted, that I've seen, that I used to see at cons, or I used to see it on the wall, or I used to see in Wizard magazine, that I could never afford. And now I was able to actually buy those books, right? I didn't have a mom or whatever to stop me. And unlike when I was in college, I actually have money, right? And I wasn't spending it on pizza and donuts and other things, right? So I went out and I started buying all of these books that I've always wanted. And I then did what a lot of YouTubers do when they first, create a channel, is I was basically showing the stuff that I was buying, right? And there was a lot of stuff that I was buying. So there was some videos where like every video was like a key. Here's another key. Here's another key. Here's another key. Here's a stack of keys, right? Here's a box of keys. And someone basically, a couple of people were like, so do you buy anything? Is your collection anything other than keys? And it was an interesting moment, because it was a little bit of a wake up call for me that I had fallen into a trap, and the trap was haul after haul after haul. And I was buying things and just doing videos around the stuff that I bought. And so I created Random Run, and Random Run was essentially a celebration of books and titles that don't necessarily get hung on a wall, that people don't necessarily call keys, that people don't necessarily celebrate, right? As being these, these prized possessions, right? But and I've talked about this recently, there's a lot of really good books, a lot of really good comics that are out there that just don't get the recognition, right? And so what I did with Random Run was to basically shine some light on these books that were in my collection that weren't really keys, that were just really good stories or really good titles that were actually part of my collection. And really, the vast majority of my collection is actually sitting off to the side. It's unslabbed, and they're just basically raw books, a lot of them from my childhood. And so, less and less, because I'm buying more and more books, so the percentage is going down. But Random Run was just a celebration of just really good comics. And so I kind of evolved the idea just a little bit, and you'll see what I mean when you actually watch it. But it's still at its core the exact same thing. It is a random run of comics. And so hopefully when it drops, hopefully it is better received than the last time. And if not, I will blame Tina and other people that put me up to it. Bearded Collector, your fault, man, your fault. All right. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I enjoyed you guys. I had fun as always in the live stream, mixing it up with you guys. I want to thank you for hanging out with me a little bit. We have 5 awesome videos that are going to be dropping this week. I hope that you guys will take time to watch it. I may actually drop a bonus video at one point. I'm actually doing a new kind of thing, a little small project. And I may drop a bonus video at some point this week. I'm not quite sure. I need to think a little bit more about it, but at least 5 videos this week for certain. So 2 podcasts. If you are not following me on the podcast, you definitely want to check that out. We're on iTunes and Google Play Store, and wherever you listen to podcasts, we're probably there. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so at Reggie Collects on Instagram and RegieCollects@gmail.com. Take care.